Now, if you're home and every time I look outside and it looks bleak and cold, trust me, if you can walk and get outside, come outside with your family, get some fresh air when you can. Yes, it's cold, but once you start to breathe in this nice fresh air, it will rejuvenate your life. That yes, we'll get through this. A breath of fresh air is coming. Here I am during winter now, and I'm about to start doing some winter menu recipes, hopefully to get some new clients or some of the old clients to buy some of these new winter products, and start with the language now, because that's one of the good things in terms of jerk and Oynish. One of the major difference between jerk and Oynish is Oynish food, or everything Oynish, is governed by the language that's also called Oynish, or to be specific, Jamaican Oynish language, which means that in the future, globally, it's impossible to separate Oynish food from the language, and that's something that's copyrighted because of how it's constructed. I've only given an hint of what the language is like in the past, but when I start to actually write it, I'm hoping that by February I start to show you what the official language looks like. I did a bit here and there on YouTube for people to have an idea of what it looks like, some of the word. And I even created what's known as an Oynish dictionary. It's the official Oynish dictionary with the Latin alphabet system, that use the Latin alphabet system to write this language, which is only a part of it, because then later on we'll go into other aspect of writing this language and how the recipe will be written. But for now, the Oynish comes in three parts. There's Oynish, the name, that's my name, but it's also the name of the food, or Oynish food. It's also the name of the language, Oynish language, or just Jamaican Oynish language. And it means now the three becomes inseparable. The person who created it is now explaining what he intended the food to represent in terms of healthy eating and the promotion of fruit and vegetable consumption. So that will be my plan for the next couple of months while the situation holds out in terms of people who work in the catering industry to actually provide food and sell it to customers. I think it would be much easier if I did actually have a restaurant up and going some time ago and have all the equipment in place in terms of, you know, what restaurants does have, you know, the space and all that, because it would be much easier to just do takeaway. But my catering system was built on events. I just do much better at events where people order for events, and I got a week or two to prepare for it. That's how my business operates. So for me to transition into a takeaway is difficult, because having to now get a lot more equipment and the packaging and a lot more stuff that's involved, it's a lot difficult, especially when we're in a pandemic, when there's not enough funds. And I like to hear from people, what is it like in your circumstance where if you're a person who does events or not necessarily a takeaway and having to transition, and you don't have the financial resources to sort of change the shape of the business, and then to invest all that money not knowing if you're going to get many customers. It's a big risk, and it's tough for the entire catering industry, and for especially if you work alone, if you're like self-employed, or in my case I have a limited company but I work for myself, except when I do events I might employ 1 or 2 people just to help with the transition or transportation of stuff or the serving of stuff. But with no events possible at the moment, it means that my catering model is stripped, and then because of limited resources, financial resources and other means, it's very difficult, if not impossible, to transition from doing catering events to doing takeaway. It's very difficult. But one thing I do know, and this is a thing about the Jamaican spirit. No, this is not unique to Jamaica, it's just unique to humanity. But the Jamaicans, maybe because of the slave trade and the ability to having to evolve overnight, to survive. That's the term with little but with Talawa. That even the Chinese, the Indians, the whites in Jamaica, it just become a part of their nature to being mixed with the descendants of slave. We little but with Talawa, which means that we're a small nation, an island nation, pretty much with a continent mentality. The idea of being Talawa is that amidst all the odds, we'll literally, by God's grace, conjured up something out of nothing and make it work. So that's the idea of being Talawa, that you pretty much have water and a stove, no ingredients or anything, and you still make it work. That's the idea of being Talawa. And you see that in Jamaica too, and I have been observing for a while. I'm not saying that everybody in Jamaica is struggling. You've got very wealthy people of all race in Jamaica, but there are others who struggle. So some of them, they refuse to quit and they start inventing dance and turn it into a business. Some of them are struggling, and some of them going to start farming, doing special stuff and make it work. They refuse to give up. The idea of refusing to give up. And that stayed with me over the years. And here I am in this pandemic and saying, okay, I'm here in Scotland in winter, as you can see all around now. And I'm refusing to give up. I'm stuck with this challenge of transforming the business into a takeaway. It's difficult because it's a catering business that does events. So with the resources that I've got, I know I have to literally conjure up something out of nothing. And then I realize I've got the language and the food that I create. It's virgin at the moment. The language is virgin and the food is still virgin because it hasn't gone global yet. But the good thing is, it's giving me a chance now to probably focus on developing every word of a meaning, every sentence of a meaning. And it's directly connected with the food, that's connected with the seasonal fruit and vegetable that's in Scotland, and how I use Scottish or British fresh produce, seasonal produce, to create absolutely brand new Jamaican recipes and food products that didn't exist before, and thus giving it some new names that didn't exist before either, and thus the development of the language. And I'm hoping too that I'll one day get to write my first Oynish poem, which would be, I believe, it sounds strange, I'm talking to you now and it just sounds quite simple. I remember when reggae started. Well, I wasn't there when reggae started, but I could imagine when it started and people just saw the people who were at the forefront of it were doing it. And that's what I'm talking about, that Talawaness. People in Kingston, in Trenchtown, were struggling with all the challenges they had there in Kingston at the time in the 70s. And they conjured up a type of musical miracle to sing and talk about their experience. And it's now a global movement in which Rastafarian is now like a religion, even for white and Asian people who are now Rastafarian. How is it that this little island with people with limited resources to develop country can conjure up out of pretty much limited resources and turn things into a global phenomenon? It's just that the people refuse to give up. They'll dig deep. And that's what I realize I'll have to do now. What do I have and what I don't have? I can't focus on what I don't have. I don't have the money and I don't have the customer base for the takeaway and all that, because my business model wasn't built on that, and I don't have that financial resources, but I refuse to quit. So if I cannot serve the people the food, I might as well start to talk about it or sing about it in poetry, that when the time comes, when people, when it's possible to start serve people again, they start to read about it in poetry and hear it in songs before they even start eating it. No, it would be hard, because as I said, I literally have to, by God's grace, conjure it up out of nothing. So every night or every so often I have to write down the new words and translate it into English, because some of the words, none of them exist in the English language, but some of them I try and translate it into the closest means of English language, so it's relatable to the English language. But because it's not British English, I call it Millennial Jamaican English, because these words doesn't exist in Britain. And I just like to add these new coin words to the the Jamaican context of English, and to Scotland too, and Britain, in terms of this new food. But for the meantime, I have the next few weeks now, apart from preparing for as much customers as I can get in terms of what I can sell. Even if there aren't any customers, it doesn't mean that I'll stop doing business. I start to think about writing the language of the food while developing the food, and putting it in poetry form and in music. And I'm no great singer, and I'm not a poet. Poetry was one of my weak subjects in high school. But because I've got this new language, and it's an extension of who I am, and I'm literally creating the words, I start to find it easier for me to write about it, because I'm not having to second guess what people might think. I'm the one who literally have to develop it, which is awesome, but challenging. It's frightening. So here I am at the hilltop, not far from the setting of the sun. It's probably got half an hour before it's set, but look, it's all white. Look at the fields. Look how white Scotland is. As I said, I'm in the Newington area, the woodland, but the fields around are near the woodland, which is just down the bottom there. As you can see, way in the distance, further in the distance, probably that's the Pentlands. No, that's Edinburgh over there, somewhere over there. Gosh, the buses should be from. Okay, and there's the North Sea. Going that way, you probably end up in Holland. Snow everywhere, people. Look, snow. Snow! And and that's it. Because things, and that's the thing, I'm not saying things aren't grim. Especially for someone in the catering sector at the moment, or the hospitality sector, or the hotel sector, or the tourism sector. Grim. Same for me, but I'm refusing to give up. And as much as it's cold, when I see all this whiteness, the snow, all I can see and interpret from it is that there's abundance of blessing out there, that God will be raining down on me, that I might not have all I need to do what I want to do now, but the fact that there's so much snow out of what's known as a storm, that this pandemical storm, if I could say that word for use of a better term, this pandemical storm that have brought this snow, all this snow in itself, will turn into a blessing in terms of Irish food. And that's why I'm on this hilltop looking around, and I'm showing you, and I'm hoping that while you're on YouTube or Facebook, wherever where I share this video, whatever social media, if you're Jamaican and you're influencer, or just a Jamaican, wherever you are in the world, you can share this video, that wherever in the world you might have hope, but also that it's your responsibility, whichever country you're in, regardless if it's a white country or a black country, if you're in Europe or Africa, if you're in America or you're in the Caribbean, back home in Jamaica, or you're in South America or Asia, Japan, so forth, wherever you are as a Jamaican, give hope to the people in whatever way you can. If you're a nurse or a teacher, if you're a husband or a wife, if you're a student, in whatever capacity you find yourself, give hope, you know, to help build wherever you are, you know, because we are all in the struggle together. For myself here in Scotland, if you're Scottish and white or non-white, if you're from the ethnic minority, or if you're a general someone from Europe watching this, my hope to you is that we will get through this. Now, if you're home and every time I look outside and it looks bleak and cold, trust me, if you can walk and get outside, come outside with your family, get some fresh air when you can. Yes, it's cold, but once you start to breathe in this nice fresh air, it will rejuvenate your life. That yes, we'll get through this. A breath of fresh air is coming, and we'll all get through this together. For those who have lost loved ones, my heart reaches out to you and condolences. But don't give up either. For those who are Christians, or I know for those who are even Muslims too, or if you're atheist, whatever religion you are of, whatever religious persuasion, you have your own challenges. Keep going. We'll get through this. And for all those who are involved in the charitable work, Cooking Musselborough, that's doing such a great work at the Edinburgh Church, Edinburgh Seventh-day Adventist Church, the Samaritans, all these charitable organizations that's out there giving food to people. Keep doing so, and it might seem that you're not making an impact, but you are. You're making a difference to life. Keep doing that. All those who are removing the waste from the community, keeping the streets safe, keeping the environment safe, you're doing a great work. So hang on in there. We'll get through this together. And for the Prime Minister of Great Britain, I know my word doesn't, I'm just an ordinary Jamaican living in Scotland and yes, a chef, but Boris Johnson, it won't be easy having to deal with Brexit and all sort of stuff, plus all the pandemic. It's a lot of work on you. Hang on in there. My heart reach out to you and your team. For the member of the opposition, whoever, hang on in there. But for Scotland, Nicola Sturgeon, I've never met you, and I don't know what all the challenges you're going through and what it's like lying down at night and all the challenges that you have to think about addressing the Scottish issue and the economy to come and so forth. I'm saying to you, Nicola Sturgeon, as a Jamaican, I'm encouraging you to hold on, and I'm hoping that one day my new creation will bring a blessing to Scotland as it will be for Jamaica. That Jamaica can also add value to Scotland. That in the future, I'll help to improve the economic situation of Scotland with my new creation. So hang on in there, because help is coming. The immigrants will be contributing. The native Scots will be contributing. Until you decide whatever, if you want to go independent, whatever the case may be. But for now, I'm praying for you, Nicola Sturgeon, and all the health team or the political team that's trying to help us through this COVID crisis. You've done so much for us. Hold on. And to all my chef not friends, but just as for all the chefs out there, or those who are in the catering sector, hospitality sector, tourism sector, which your business is taking a great hit and you have bills to pay and your entire business shut down and you've lost the employees and it's just so hard to think that there's a way. Let's just make it through this month, and then the next month there will be a way. Because the moment you woke up this morning is a sign of hope. So as I said, I'm just an ordinary Jamaican. My name is Oynish Glorentine Grandis, the creator of the Oynish food system. It's an international food system I'm creating, for an international Jamaican food system that focuses on the promotion of fruit and vegetable by eating local or regional seasonal products, turning these fruit and veg into condiments that you use on food products to bring them into season to promote healthy eating of fruit and vegetable. And because of all the new words I have to invent for all the condiments and all the recipes that the condiment creates, thus the Oynish language. So I'm also the creator of the Oynish language. that is not English nor Jamaican patois. It's just a constructed language for Irish development. And I'm hoping that as I do my part with the limited resources that I've got, that I'll find a way. I don't know how God is going to do it, but to find a way to use what I've got to help build Scotland. And when I get the chance to travel back to Jamaica, because everything is locked down now, I can do the same for Jamaica. But also, while I'm here in Scotland, do for Scotland and Great Britain. I will be doing my part, Nicola Sturgeon. I will be doing my part, Boris Johnson. With the limited resources that I've got, I'm not going to quit. I'll have to find a way to serve as such to build this nation and eventually Jamaica when I get there. So I also say to my Jamaican government, Andrew Holness, never met you before. See, you and your team have done a great job in stemming the tide. And I know I'm not doing a lot of Jamaican food here, as in traditional Jamaican food. I literally have to create or invent a new food system, which I'll be working through as time goes by, and a constructed language. And I know it sounds silly at this point in time, but the reality is there's a new Jamaican language. It's constructed. It's not in Jamaica yet. And it's not meant to be a new Jamaican language per se, for everybody to speak as if it's a business language for the Irish business. But in it comes all the new poetry that have to do with this new food, and a new genre of music that will evolve from it, that's not reggae nor dancehall. It will specifically have to do with food and health promotion, and this is what I'm hoping Jamaica can contribute to the world here in Britain, and also to Jamaica itself, that here's a new genre of music or new poetry or a new language that evolved from a new food that is built on a modern era of health promotion of fruit and vegetable. It means that new poetry written, never been written in this format before that you've seen in Jamaica or in Britain. And I'm hoping that this will become a means in which to create new jobs for people in Britain, new jobs for people in Jamaica in the future, so that people will have hope. We don't give up, we hold firm, we hold out there, and it's, as I said, it's hard, but we don't give up. We will make it through, and I promise by God's grace I'll do my best. So hold on, dear Nicola Sturgeon, hold on, Boris Johnson, hold on, Andrew Holness. I'll do my part, and if it means making up stuff out of nothing, by God's grace I'll do, because that's one thing we do as human beings. We reach out as far as we can to create means by which we can all improve in a bad situation. So hold out there. So that's all from now, from this Newington area, and the sun is now set, so I'm going to head home now till my next video. So as I said, for those who will be watching this video or who are watching it, you can share it with people, but as I said, I'm starting from a point of limited resources, so don't expect any great miracle, but whatever I'll do, I'll make sure I do all my best to start constructing this new system, and I'm hoping that it will become beneficial to Scotland, to create new jobs and new opportunities, but also for Jamaica. So blessings to all. Chilio.